Minimum comfort level. मेरे पास
ये थैंक यू
सिर्फ वो लेना है वो इसको नीचे रखने के बाद अगर वो लगा रहे तो इतना देंगे जो उनके लिए काफ़ी है। साढ़े 3 इंटरेस्टेड इन एवरीथिंग हाँ सब चाहिए कहेंगे तो सही ना ऐसे भी हैं कोई मसला इस किस्म की भी बातचीत है शाकिर मैंने वैसे भी होना है वहाँ पे 9 से 12 के दरमियान दूसरी में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक शो है हर साल CES होता है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक शो बहुत बड़ा सारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक TV तक आ जाती है बिगेस्ट शो 9 से 12 कौन सी एग्जीबिशन है यहाँ 12 जाना पड़ेगा
ये आपका है ना बैग सर ये
लगता है मतलब we have to use that महीने करा नहीं बनाना चाह रहे हैं BYD आगे हमसे बात करते हैं पार्टनर है BYD पीछे से पार्टनर है मसला ना हो कहते हैं कि के बारे में उसमें ऑलरेडी प्लेयर्स आ गए हैं प्ले आउट जैसे कि वी कैन हैव ट्रैवल ट्रैक BYD के साथ गाड़ियों पर शाकिर ये तरीका ये काम चल रहा है पॉलिसी पे काम चल रहा है हमारा भी अपना पॉलिसी की पार्टी आती है पोजिशन की
अच्छा ओके फाइन
Good afternoon. In a few minutes, we'll be starting the session. I'd like to request everybody to kindly take a seat so we can begin.
मैं वो लाइव कर रहा हूँ, एक सेकंड बैग लेने। हाँ ये लाइव है। Excuse me, can you move here? Sorry.
At the back.
Come here, brother.
request everybody to kindly take their seats if they have one. Everybody, our chief guest for the occasion is here. We'd like to welcome him and everybody on the stage, please. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Good afternoon everybody and Assalamu alaikum. I would like to welcome our esteemed chief guest today as well as the audience here. Welcome to the panel discussion of Punjab. Today we shall be discussing the climate finance landscape in Punjab and the challenges posed by climate change to Punjab and how do we plan on scaling up the climate action. Now I would like to tell you that the realization that climate change is impacting Punjab and causing devastating havoc in the region runs deep, which is evident by the top leadership at the global today. And so I would like to request Honorable Chief Minister of Punjab, Mr. Mohsin Naqvi, to kindly come on the podium and enlighten us with his thoughts on this. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On behalf of Punjab government, I would like to welcome you all to discuss the challenges we have faced regarding climate change in Pakistan.
किधर है फोन ब्रिगेड साहब का
Pakistan is the eighth most vulnerable country in the world to climate change. We have seen drastic impacts of this in the form of 2022 flooding, where 1/3 of the country was underwater and 33 million people were displaced. Punjab is the highest populated province of Pakistan with a population of 130 million people. It has faced unpredictable weather patterns in recent years. The Punjab government has been making all efforts possible to achieve climate change related targets set under Sustainable Development Goals in its commitment to the international community. We have introduced 6 new laws and policies to reduce plastic pollution and smog. Green technology strategy is also underway. We have also established an environment endowment fund with the seed money of $50 million to encourage green investment in private sector through grants and loans. We are aware of the challenges posed by climate change, and we acknowledge that a lot more needs to be done on our part to adopt the fast changing ground realities. However, climate change is a trans-boundary challenge which requires countries to adopt an international and regional approach. For example, the decrease in air quality index due to smog has impacted both Indian and Pakistani Punjab. For proper resolution for the issue, there needs to be a collaborative approach across the border to identify the root causes and to formulate effective strategies to deal with the issue. Climate justice is shared responsibility which demands coordinated efforts from all the nations. Together we must forge a path towards a sustainable future, preserving the beauty of our planet and for the future generations. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for those insightful remarks. Today's session will mainly be divided into two parts. The first session we'll be discussing about the challenges that Punjab faces when we talk about climate change, and the second session we'll be talking about the climate finance landscape and how do we plan on scaling up climate action. So for the first session, I would request our panelist, number one, Secretary Agriculture, to kindly join us on stage. Nader Chakra. I would also like to request Ms. Catherine Wong to join us. She's the UNDP climate exchange expert. I'd also like to request your root Mr. Imran to please join us on stage for the panel. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Ali Koki, the moderator for this session. He's a climate change expert and a member of the Pakistan Climate Change Council. Mr. Ali Koki, can you please kindly come here? Sir, can you please join the panel here? Over to you, sir.
I just want to outline for everyone the purpose of this session is to develop a deeper understanding of Punjab's climate challenge, identify climate gap, the financial gap, and what ways forward is challenge to meet that gap. Before we proceed, we would like to show you a small document.
Pakistan is responsible for less than 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, yet it is facing a supersized price for man-made climate change.
Bangladesh and Pakistan have been experiencing unprecedented floods.
ये उधर नहीं चल सकती उधर क्यों नहीं चली फिर उनको भी दिखाई देती है ना देख लीजिए तो आपने और बस कितने ग्राम
मेरे ख्याल में लाइट जा रही है।
Thank you. We have seen the complexity of our development agenda and how deeply linked it is with the climate change crisis. Just a sentence on the financial gap. International participants who are not aware, a year ago we had a flood costing us over $30 billion. And now the estimates are that in coming years, our budget will be, the budget needed will be a lot more, and we are looking at a deficit of $448 billion, and we have the resources for only $48 billion, and we figure out, and we are pursuing the exercise to find out how we will generate $300 billion. And we are very fortunate that many eminent panel today. With us is the Chief Secretary of the Punjab province, that is Pakistan's largest province, the most populous one, and he is the Dean of Development and Climate Change Nexus in the college. So my very short question to you, as the Dean of Development and Climate Change, how is climate change affecting your development agenda? And what is your vision for the future?
Basically, when we attack this subject, it is like that innocent is like punished, and we don't know we are contributing around 0.9% to greenhouse emission.
तो वॉल्यूम नहीं ठीक, कम बढ़ाएं थोड़ा, इनको बताएं।
We are facing lots of floods, heat waves, and many other challenges. But recently, as you have seen, last part of 2022, where I was also involved in green implementation, it was a huge loss. I mean, people talk about 5 billion, 20 billion, 40 billion, but there are millions of people who lost their house, animals, they gone below poverty line. We try to help them a lot, but even then the gap is huge. Punjab is half of the Pakistan, around 20 million people. In 7 out of 10, most populous cities are in Punjab. So anything that is being happened there, we are the most affected ones. When we talk about the challenges, if you their numbers, but I just mentioned 2 or 3 which are more important, and we are facing it. First case, mostly air quality is low. The board now stands among top 3 cities in the world, almost in the daily ranking. That is due to number of reasons. This number which is happening both in India and Pakistan, and once, even if we try to manage, we get a lot of smoke from other side of the border. Then there is a regular pollution and industrial pollution. The Chief Minister visiting in this forum as well. He took up this issue almost 5 years back, and he put all resources whichever were possible to manage this. But unfortunately, the quantum is very, very huge. It has an issue of livelihood. It has issue of there is no alternate first level burning at the moment. If we close the factories, there people who lost their jobs. So there is a very critical balance that we are facing. And in this area, I think that there is a lot of investment is required. We need to have industrial zone also in the cities. We need to put a plant in every industrial unit where the vehicle can be cleaned. There is a sewer issues I mean, there's a huge investment that we are looking for if we want to maintain the session. And this cannot happen with simple one government approach, or this is a world over, we need support from the whole world. This change in weather is also causing us a lot of difficulties. Last year, the hill torrents of Dera Ghazi found. I mean, these are just small torrents, but last year they were bigger than even rivers. There were 300,000 cubics of water passing through small areas, and the speed is so high that they bring devastation everywhere. Now, again in the river, the floods both have affected Punjab and South mostly. Now we need some bigger industry. And then again the people will go through the same cycle of livelihood loss and all those things. Heat wave is, we are also experiencing a heat wave, which was unusual phenomenon. I mean, in 2015, almost 1,500 people died. So this heat wave is also, I will talk about agriculture, here it is affecting every walk of life as well. Pakistan is, and especially the Punjab, is mainly agriculture province, and this weather pattern, changing weather patterns are affecting us. There is a cropping pattern that are being changed. We don't have a seed to adjust to those cropping patterns. That needs lot of research. Then crop fertility is another. Rising temperature and climate change adversely affect agriculture and crop yield. In the World Bank report 2022, From Swimming in the Sand to High and Sustainable Growth, the author have highlighted research which showed that in Punjab, for every 0.5 to 2 degree increase in temperature, the crop yield decreases by 8 to 10%. The climate-induced challenges in agriculture are a serious threat for our food security, since Punjab is the food basket of Punjab. Then again, all inputs for industry also come from the agriculture. Their industry is also going to. So this is a kind of thing that we are suffering from all sides, and we need a wholesome approach, and that is only possible. We are trying to make efforts. I mean, Chief Minister is very keenly, he is working on smoke. We added one holiday in a week. Then he holds almost twice a week a meeting on the issue of environment. He is trying to look into this rain, artificial rain, ground ionization, then air filtration. I mean, he is exploring all those options that we are working with him. He is sending a guest up. We are working all the partners to suggest us some solution. And there are things we can do, and there are things that are coming from India. I mean, that would be a joint challenge. But again, these are all years which can reduce our problem to 5%, 10%. But if we really want to manage it, we have to look into our industrial units, our vehicles, and all those factors which are affecting our daily life, because population is growing at a large scale. And for that, I believe that we need a collaboration in research and investment. That is the only way forward, we suggest. And I'm grateful for this platform COP28 for inviting us and giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for outlining that how climate change has begun to our development growth rate and adversely affecting lives and quality of life for large number of people, and both in urban and rural areas. Now, as a Dean of the Development of the Province, you have outlined in a very comprehensive manner. We are very fortunate to also have with us Iftikhar Sahu, who is spearheading this exercise, project by project, ministry by ministry, and department by department. Sir, I wanted to ask you a short question, if I may, that how the development agenda is influenced by climate change again, and what specific measures you are taking and prioritizing to increase resilience in the province.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Before I specifically respond to your questions, let me set aside when delegates
स्पीकर आवाज नहीं आ रही
30 million people. So what is at stake in Punjab for climate change challenges is the lives and livelihood of 130 million people living in the province. And just to share with you, this population is double the size of population of the United Kingdom. Climate change, we all know, it's a threat multiplier. It is affecting us in every sector. As mentioned by the Chief Secretary of Punjab, we got a recent study conducted by the World Bank and another research done by the UNDP that if we in Punjab don't really come up with an action plan to handle the climate change, we are going to lose up to 15% of our GDP by the year 2050. And by our current GDP estimation, it's a staggering figure of $13 billion US dollars. So as a head of planning and development, the promise, the biggest challenge for me is to mainstream the climate financing in every aspect of development planning and the public investment choice that we make. We cannot see the climate finance and the issues of the environmental challenges that we face in sectors like agriculture, urban transport, energy, in silos. So in planning paradigm of Punjab, we have started tagging our public investment vis-a-vis the climate change, whether it's the resilience, it's the adaptation, it's the mitigation. We are in a way investing in agriculture, in urban planning, the climate smart infrastructure, and very important, one aspect that I would like to focus on, transition to clean energy. Since Pakistan is a signatory and we've committed greenhouse gas emission reduction of 50%, Punjab being the largest province has to be cognizant to play its role and contribute toward the national commitment. So in terms of transition to renewable energy, we have the immense potential of solar, renewable energy, wind, hydro. We are also doing some demand side management, it's the energy conservation. We are bringing solarization in all our government infrastructure, mapping the renewable energy potential of the province. So there are a number of responses that are coming up. We are trying to mainstream the agenda. It's also important to share with you that under the leadership of Chief Minister Punjab, we have done some new initiative in terms of legislative and policy instrument done this year, like approval of the first clean air policy, coming up with the urban pollution and air quality management plan. We have been reaching out to different development partners. Some of the representatives are here to work with us and to help us in terms of building the capacity development of various departments to handle the climate change challenges. There is a host of actions being undertaken, but I think much more needs to be done, and that is the main purpose of coming to this global forum for a handshake with the international community in our endeavors, in our ambitions to handle the climate change challenges for the province of Punjab.
Thank you very much. And thank you, sir, also in particular for drawing our attention to that the climate challenge in Punjab is adaptation as well as mitigation. And through clean energy initiatives, you are addressing not only adaptation but mitigation as well. In terms of financial gap, a recent study इस पे WhatsApp है ना, बाकी मैंने इस पे $152 billion for adaptation and $196 million for decarbonization. These are large sums, and it's really a question time for me to reach out to who has immense responsibility on his shoulders. Punjab is the mainstay of Pakistan's economy. It's the breadbasket of Pakistan, not only of the province. In fact, Pakistan's produce, we can find it in many Central Asian countries, including perhaps Middle Eastern countries. So He is our agriculture production machine in charge. So if I may ask you that how climate change has made provincial economy more vulnerable and how specifically you are trying to address that risk in various complex aspects of agriculture.
Thank you, Dr. Sam, so kind of you for asking these questions. First and foremost, let me say on the outset that Punjab produces about 60% of the national agricultural output, which means 75% of wheat, 60% of rice, 97% of citrus, and 95% of vegetables. And we not only cater for the entire population of Punjab, but we also supply agricultural goods and products to the rest of the province. And being a responsible neighbor, our products also go to Afghanistan, Iran, and Central Asia. And so, as Secretary of Agriculture, I'm not just supposed to look at what is going on in Punjab, but how Punjab becomes a regional economic hub, and how Punjab, in the future coming years, keep feeding the adjoining regions. Now, with climate change challenges, first and foremost is the unpredictable weather conditions. One year we have more rains, the next year we have more rains, we have less rains. Now, all this leads to less crop yield. Crop yield hovers between from 1 year comes down to 20%, the next year might climb up another 20%. The second challenge, it's an age-old practice, but now we are very facing with that, and that is in the way of smog, because farmers find it more convenient and economic to burn their crop residue rather than putting that to good use. Good use means either as organic fertilizer or for energy generation. So farmers simply burn the crop residue, and most of that is the rice crop burning. Now that leads to so much air pollution, smog in major metropolis, that in this year, in this season, Lahore, Multan were ranking in the top 10 high AQI index cities in the world. Now the double-edged sword is that if you prevent them physically from burning, you will not have the next feed not just the Punjab's population, but the rest of the region's population. The third most significant impact is the water shortage. By water shortage, what I'm saying is that Punjab receives its 56 million acre water from the Indus River system, which means that there are 3 ranges in the north of Pakistan: the Karakum range, the Himalayan region, and the Hindu Kush range. And we have one of the world's magnificent glaciers. These glaciers are melting fast at a rate of 2 to 3% every year. And it is expected that by the end of this century, we will lose about 60% of our glacial mass. Now, this means a reduction of crop water availability by around 20 to 25%. And farmers turn towards pumping underwater, subsurface water through use of tube wells. 1.2 million tube wells in Punjab, and the 12% shortage of water from the Indus Basin River system is met through water pumping. Now that too also is environmentally very damaging. So this is my response to what to question. I hope it serves the purpose for now.
Thank you, sir. Well, my next panelist is Kathleen Bond. Kathleen is UNDP's Global Team Leader for Climate and Security Risk. And ma'am, before I ask you a question, I just want to ask all to know our next door neighbor is France, and like Paris Agreement, we can't hear them very clearly. There are many conflicting sounds and voices. Question, ma'am, that I want to ask. You have heard from us the complexity of this agenda, evolving and responding and
After this session, I will tell you.
You have to find a socket, should be there
We don't want the
around that
to be
area.
accentuated. by the seriousness of climate change. I wanted to ask you how your portfolio and UNDP in general is a more active partner in the area.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question. Okay, I'll put myself in front of the stage. I think it's better, right? Okay, sorry, it's slightly in this direction, but really a pleasure to join the panel today. I think a lot of excellent points were raised already. One of the more exciting developments that we've seen here at COP in the last couple of days has been the endorsement by more than 120 countries of the climate change and health declaration that's been led by the UAE. That's new commitments, $300 million by the Global Fund, another $100 million by the Rockefeller Foundation, and $50 million by the UK to tackle climate and health interventions. And this is really important. If you look at the latest IPCC report, for example, it shows that 150 million deaths will be avoided by the turn of the century if we get to net zero soon. And so we have co-benefits of health related to climate change. And so, as mentioned by excellent team panelists earlier, there's definitely a win-win agenda that we're pursuing here in terms of climate, in terms of air pollution, and related implications for health as well. In the case of Pakistan, it's fascinating to read, and these are world bank figures, but we're looking at about 22,000 deaths per year due to outdoor pollution, right? And another 28,000 deaths due to indoor pollution, and some 40 million cases of acute respiratory infections each year. So these are not small numbers, and they have impacts on broader economic development, right? We're looking at the number of work days lost per year as well, which ends up in the tens of thousands here. So I think critical risks that we can address for health, for lives and livelihoods, again by delivering on ambitious commitments that were mentioned under the Paris Agreement by Ollie just now. The second point that I think is important to focus on is the broader impacts, again, of food insecurity, of found crops, of climate disasters, displacement. We're talking 8 million people in 1 year. This is actually something that we see across our portfolio as humanity, right? And broadly the UN system and the international community. Each year, displacement by climate-related natural resources every single year. And only last year was that gap narrowed due to the war in Ukraine. But there are some very serious challenges again moving forward by not getting to net zero. If you look at the World Bank's Ransford report, for example, it estimates something like 200 million people displaced within their own countries due to climate change by 2050. UNHCR puts a much higher figure of for 1 billion people who will be displaced as well. So I think we need to think about what those impacts are, what they mean for social cohesion, what they mean for rural to urban migration flows, for example, and then also just in the context of broader disaster response efforts as well, being able to make sure that we are protecting those who are on the move and the most vulnerable in any different context in the immediate aftermath of climate-induced disasters. And then I think the other thing the other report was really important that came out the day was the WHO, right? We finally this year broke through that 1.5 degree barrier for the first time. And what I can say, I mean, very shocking to me. We see figures like this all the time, but the hottest year on record. I think in the last 9 years, 9 hottest years that we have known, highest levels of GHG emissions that we have seen so far, lowest levels of sea ice, highest levels of sea level rise as well. And the Secretary General of the WHO describes this as a cacophony of broken records. So if we're looking in terms of the challenges that are there in the global events, but there are so many opportunities here as well, and so many different sustainable development goals that we can advance achievement against by making sure that we deliver on climate entanglement
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for highlighting in a very integrated manner the range of issues and options available to us and waiting for decisions and action in partnership with you. And my final panelist is Imran Amin Sahib. Imran Sahib, you are implementing the largest real estate project in the province. How will it contribute to low emissions and climate resilient development?
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for giving me this opportunity to present my views on the real estate development that we're doing in Punjab, especially in the wake of the climate change challenges that we're facing. As my colleagues have already mentioned, the policy measures that Punjab has taken to the climate change measures that it needs to be taken. We are now rethinking our master planning and other strategies that were earlier proposed for these developments. For instance, I don't think so we have a chance now but to go for a green and a meet sustainable structures, immediate expansion of our cities or the master planning of our cities. So similarly, that's the first heading and the first step that we have taken already. Since Islamabad is the first city that is being developed in Punjab, and this is based on the green principles. We have changed land use now, principally block roads now with the challenge of these climate changes. The river, once that used to go through the whole and Shivapura, has now vanished, and now going to open up toward these flood tracks that come now every year. So in order to mitigate these floods and then keep these roads as a reservoir as well, we have proposed 3 reservoirs over there. And we have changed with the help of our consultants, climate change specialists, whereas we have changed the banks now to further improvements to ensure that they are aligned with the environmental standards that we follow in our developments, and as well as the required riverbank to the water aspect. Now, in terms of the transport, which is an important aspect of our city, and that is the growing population of the whole towards the north, we've included all our roads, which is of around 300 to 450 of them, as a very clear mass transit line that we have already introduced to the master plan. Now, this master plan will act as a carrier for electric vehicles, be it train or buses that can be run over there. This is where we need global support in terms of technology transfer that we need in this country, especially now. Already just less than 1% of our emissions, but if we're able to reduce more by these practices, we've already done several studies and strategies into looking into this. What we need now is financing and technology transfer that is required for urban development. Forest cover is another challenge that we have in there. We have deforestation that happens in Pakistan very frequently, especially in Punjab. Around 7,000 to 8,000 acres of forest land has now been identified in our developments that we are converting back to deforestation. And that also the carbon credit that has been recently approved by the Commission Cabinet and one of the Chief Minister of Punjab. This will probably be the first carbon credit project that we are doing in Punjab now. And further go on, like on the soil waste management, landfill sites that we have around the world and in Punjab, like we will take them again into solar and local parks. So these are several strategies that have already taken place that has got the approval of the Provincial Cabinet and the Chief Minister. We're well aware of how the climate change has affected Punjab. Inshallah, overall strategies that are being prepared are ready for less the support of technology transfer and financing as I mentioned.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all the panelists for drawing a sketch picture for us of the complexity of development agenda in the province. We know and we learn that how the cost of development is going up and up and up, and how meeting the SDG challenge is becoming more and more elusive. And now imperative it has become for us to find creative ways fill the finance gap. Traditionally, finances was the federal responsibility, and provinces have a new role for them to learn and directly access international finance from different countries. There are new challenges emerging in terms of public-private partnerships. There are new challenges emerging in terms of mobilizing private sector funds, and then creating creative mechanisms to muster finances from multiple stakeholders in terms of lending and leveraging and so on and so forth. It is fairly possible. I'm personally very confident that the existing portfolio can be multiplied 5 times by mobilizing and leveraging what we have in a short period of time of 3 to 5 years. With that kind of optimism, I want to now formally request my colleague to begin the next session.
Thank you so much for the session. Now, I would request our next, thank you Ms. Catherine Wong for your valuable contributions. I would also like to thank the Secretary of Agriculture, NCO Yuda, and the Chief Secretary Punjab for his valuable contributions. Sir, if you may please take the seat and start the next session. So we were discussing the challenges posed to Punjab by climate change, and now comes the actual challenge. The actual challenge is identifying the financial gaps and scaling up climate action. For this, we welcome our panelist, Ms. Tina Umali. Ms. Tina Umali is South Asia Regional Director for Sustainable Development at the World Bank. We'd like to welcome our Secretary Environment, Mr. Rajkumar Rahman. And now our moderator, Dr. Raj Chaudhary, who's a professor at the Said Business School, Oxford. Abrar Saab specializes in areas of climate action, climate finance, and sustainability. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sabha, and welcome everyone. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Today's day is multi-level action, and so really hearing from what's happening on the ground becomes extremely important. A lot of times when we look at climate policy, we look at climate action, we're looking at this big picture approach. But really where the action happens is on the ground. So it's so wonderful to have an esteemed panel that can really talk about what are we seeing from ground. But before I start that, I just wanted to maybe highlight one thing. Like in 2010, Pakistan experienced massive flooding, and 1/5 of the country was underwater. And really that's where my climate journey also started, because I wasn't in climate, but I was very curious. So I went around, I went to experts, I went to policymakers, I went to funders, and I asked them this question. I said, what happened? Why did these floods come in? We have a huge country, 1/5 is underwater, and you're saying there's a $10 billion loss. And the answer I got was that this is the flood of a century. It's not climate change, it's an anomaly. And we can't prepare for these disasters. And we all know what happened 12 years later, 2022. 1/3 of the country, $30 billion loss. And I think the stats